Alright, I apologize for not using the board and not looking at you guys today, but I didn't have time. So here we go. We're talking about 3-6 lines in the coordinate plane. Your objectives are to graph lines and write their equations in slope-intercept form and point-slope form. You guys learned this before, so it should be pretty easy. You're also going to be classifying lines as parallel, intersecting, or coinciding. And I think coinciding is the only new word for you there. Pause the video right now so that you can write your essential question and then come back. Alright, so here are your two major vocab words for this section. Point-slope form and slope-intercept form. This is your point-slope form. This is what you have to have memorized. And then slope-intercept form, I think everyone knows, but in case you don't, make sure you memorize that as well. Point-slope form gets its name because M is your slope, and you have a point here, X, Y. Slope-intercept form gets its name from M, your slope here, and then the Y-intercept is your B point here. Special lines that don't get written like this are vertical and horizontal lines. If you have a vertical line, then it cuts through the x-axis, and I'm going to draw a picture right here because sometimes this gets pretty confusing. But my y-axis goes vertically and then my x-axis goes horizontally. So if I draw in a vertical line, a line that goes up and down, it cuts through, it touches, it crosses the x-axis. That's why these lines are x equals whatever number it crosses at. So that value right there would be 5. If you have a horizontal line, then it's going to end up being y equals whatever number it crosses at, because if you have your axes, again, y is vertical. And if I have a line that cuts through this way, a horizontal line, it's going to cut through on the y-axis. So that would be crossing it too, which is why I get y equals 2. Alright, so here are directions. It says write the equation of each line in the given form. The line with slope 6, that's going to be our M, our slope, through point 3, -4. So it's always a good idea to label your x and y value so you don't mix them up. You need to start by writing out point-slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x1. This y sub 1 value and the x sub 1 value are going to be what you substitute with this point over here. So both of these guys are going to come from that. And then we already said that slope was your m. So now I'm going to substitute everything. That gives me y minus y sub 1 is at -4 equals slope is our 6 times the quantity of x minus, and then x sub 1, our x value is 3. And all we had to do was write the equation, and we have point-slope form. This is point-slope form, so we're done. Here's another example. Your directions here to write the equation again in the given form, but now they want, oh no, they still want point-slope form. Alright, so there we go. They give us the x-intercept. X value is the first one. Let me write that over here. And then the y value is the second one. So if it's the x-intercept, it crosses the x-axis. That's a 3, 0. That's our point that we're using. And then our y-intercept over here is -5, which means it's going to be the second value. That's going to be 0, -5. And I just noticed this right now. This is wrong. I printed this earlier. But it says that you need to use the point, and then these are the 2 points that we're using to find the slope. So the points are 3, 0, and 0, negative 5. So first we need to find the slope. You guys learned the slope formula, I don't remember, a section before this, where you found the change in y over the change in x, so delta y over delta x. And you can do this in either direction as long as you're staying consistent. So on the top, I'm going to have a negative 5 minus 0, and on the bottom, I'm going to have a 0 minus 3. Negative 5 take away 0 leaves me with negative 5. 0 minus 3 leaves me with a negative 3. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. So my slope is 5/3. And if I'm using point slope form, I need to write that down. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity of x minus x sub 1. I'm going to substitute this value in there for m because that's what we found as our slope. I'm going to pick one of these 2 points. It doesn't really matter which. I would probably pick this one only because it has both positive numbers and I won't have to worry about that negative right there. Both of them would be acceptable though. So again, remember that the first value is the x and the second is the y. When you substitute it, the x goes in the back and then the y goes in the front. For some reason, every year people start switching stuff around. So be careful with that. You have y minus, your y value is 0, equals, our slope we found was 5/3, times x minus, and then our x value was 3. This you would probably have to simplify, so you'll end up with y minus 5/3 times x minus 3. And that would be your equation in point slope form. You also have to graph lines. In order for you to graph a line, you need it to be in slope intercept form. So you want, slope intercept? Slope intercept. Okay. Y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and b is your y-intercept. So this isn't in the same form. I'm going to have to get it there. Start by distributing the negative 2. Y minus 3 equals negative 2x plus a negative 8. Still need to solve for the y, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Y equals negative 2x negative 5. Our slope is a negative 2 over 1. And back here, my y-intercept is a negative 5. Oh, they did it differently. Alright, so I've got my y-intercept here, and then I would go down 2 to the right 1, or I can go backwards and go up 2 to the left 1. And then this would be my line. You also could have, since this is point slope form, is found out that these values are going to be your point. So I've got, I'm going to rewrite this over here. Y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. And right here it says y minus 3. So that means your y sub 1 is a 3. Right here it says x plus 4. And if this is the form, in order to get a positive 4 right there, I would have to have x minus a negative 4. So that way these two can make a positive, which will end up over here. So that means our x value is a negative 4. So this is our point. and then the slope was the negative 2, because that was in front of the parentheses there, which is what they used here. So they started with the negative 4, positive 3, and then they went down 2 to the right 1 and drew their line going that way. So you've got two options. You can either use slope-intercept form, which is what we did first, or you can use point-slope form and then pull apart each section. You can see that they both give you the same line. So 3 new words that you need to know. Well, one of them should be new, the others shouldn't be. You have parallel lines, lines that have the same slope. You know what those look like. I have intersecting lines, which have different slopes. And then we have coinciding lines. Coinciding lines have the same slope and the same y-intercept, which means that they're the exact same line, one on top of the other. Alright, very last thing. We need to determine whether the lines are parallel, intersecting, or coinciding. And what you're going to do for all of these is you're going to solve them for y so that you can see the slope and you can see the intercept. So let's start with this one here. I have 2y minus the 4x equals 16. We're solving for y, so we're going to add 4x to both sides. This is gone. I've got the 2y equals. I'm going to put the 4x first so it looks like slope-intercept form. And we need to divide everything by 2 to get the y by itself, isolating the variable that we're looking for. So I reduced each one of those fractions. I get y equals 2x plus 8. Now I need to solve the other one to see what parts, if any, match. So I've got y minus 10 equals 2 times x minus 1. Start by distributing the 2. Y minus 10 equals 2x minus 2. Want to isolate the y, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides. That's gone. I have y equals 2x plus 8. The slopes are the same and the y-intercepts were the same. So if we look at the previous sheet, same slope, same y-intercept, my lines are coinciding. I know I moved kind of fast, so hopefully you paused in all the parts where you thought I was going too quickly. If you have any questions, we'll have to wait until Friday for us to talk about that, because I won't be there. Don't forget to write your summary, and I will see you Friday.